Hey guys, welcome back. This is the first module video. Now, to start off, I thought that we would actually set the intention that you guys are going to get the most from this course that you can. And I'm actually going to use some light language to do that. For me, predominantly what I use at the moment is my hands with light language. So I do a lot of this. I don't know exactly what the term should be. I call it coding. So to me, we're coding because when I use my light language and I'm using my hands, I feel the energetics of the oneness of the universe. And when I'm doing this, I can feel the energy that's coming from my fingers and how it's connected to our universe as a oneness. But don't worry if you didn't understand that. We'll get to all that as we go on. I also speak light language. I do have some different collectives or connections that I have or that I use, or particular sounds that come out of my mouth, or dialects as they're called. However, I do find they change. So way back in the beginning when I was first doing light language, it was a very different sound to what it is now. Yasana hiatu husutu atata. Yakatu husutu anana. Yakatasana husutu ata. Yesatata hiatu asata. Yakatu husutu anana. Yakatu husutu anana. Kitsi skutura. Yatsiti katizki gurus gurus hikadasata. Yakadasata gedi gurusidi. Yasana kadusudi. Ekadasata guru. Isre katata tu sikdi ataru atare gata yesa yakatu sutu na kia tu hasata kia tasata kia tu sutu atata kia tu sutu na kia sutu satu hatata kia tu sutu atata yakatu sutu na kia tu sutu atata Yakatu husutu anana kiatu sutu yakatu husutu ada yakata sada siki hatu suru garaka utu suhu atata kiata sada nasana nana kiatu sutu atata kiata tata situ husuru anana kiatu husuru ara kiatu skuru ara yakatu husutu ho da sata kiatu asata kiatu asada yakatu sutu atata kiata sada Siatu asata, hiatu, husutu apasata, yasaitu, yasata, husu. So I was just setting the intention there for this space so that everyone who is here gets the best out of whatever they hear right now, and they will take on whatever they need. And I noticed that when I was speaking that light language in the beginning there was a new sound or something coming in. I do find that sometimes when I am trying to do some of those setting intentions, there are a few sort of different dialects and sounds that come in at once, and sometimes they all want to speak at once and help me set the intention. But you can practice so that you can isolate different sounds. My belief is though that and we will get to this later regarding source and whether we have a unique one source or if we're multidimensional, but I believe that I am a multidimensional soul essence incarnating across different time, space, realities, dimensions, all at the same time. So my belief is I don't connect just up to one source. I am in many places at the same time. And that comes back to our time theory, which is the past, the present, and the future all exist at the same time. So the only thing that is actually real ever in our lives is right now. So right now, I'm existing everywhere at once. So for me, when I'm bringing in my light language, I don't focus on bringing in different collectives or different dialects unless I'm specifically trying to channel them, or if there's a specific skill set that I'm trying to need, or healing set, or whatever it is. When I'm just doing my general sort of light language work, I like to just allow whatever to come in. So if that wants to be a hybrid of like 7 different aspects of myself, that's fine. I allow that to happen. But if you didn't understand half of what I just said, then don't worry, I got you. We will be tackling some of those things later on as we get through. Now, this module, I just want to go way back to the beginning. So for anyone who was super fresh to what is light language, this is going to be starting you from ground zero, where you are just a human and you don't know anything about anything other than being a human. You just know, I don't know, how to do human stuff. Human stuff, what even is human stuff? But you don't have any knowledge yet or understanding of anything spiritual. You could have something religious. I know I grew up 12 years with Catholic schooling, so I think it was more popular back when we were growing up that if you went to a Catholic school, and for me, I went to a girls' Catholic school for high school. So of course you become a good little girl, and you know, you follow the ways of you follow the ways of Jesus, and you become these upstanding citizens and follow all these rules and regulations, etc. So to me, that was our introduction to some sort of spirituality. And if you're a spiritual person in that way, where you have a religion that you grew up with, or one that you believe in, or one that, sorry, I was just distracted. I don't know if you noticed, but if you check on that video, you will see a fairy fly past. Anyway, now I'm lost where I was. So anything spiritual that you may or may not know could just start from religion. That could be where you're starting from. That could be your only knowledge or understanding of any type of spirituality. So from that point is a whole nother different understandings or thoughts, or I'm not going to call them knowings because they're going to be different for everyone, but I believe like the religion is what's going to give you a general understanding of what I'm going to be talking about. I think that religion was created as I don't know if I'm going to use the right words here, as more of a watered down understanding of our true spirituality. So there's a lot of truth to it. That's a big topic. There's a lot of truth to it, but there's also a lot more to it. So we'll just leave it at that, because if you believe in a religion, that is fine. You can still be doing this type of work. I believe that if you already have that religious understanding, this may be a little bit easier to sort of understand. If you don't have any religious upbringing or any understanding of that, then you know this concept's going to be brand new to you. But my advice to anyone who is listening to this and wants to know more about light language is just come with a sense of openness. Just come with that sense of, okay, I'm going to listen to what she's saying. It doesn't mean, oh my God, she's right, everything she said is 100% correct, I have to believe that. Oh my goodness. Oh no, you're just making all this stuff up. What a load of lies. Why are you telling lies? What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Are you losing the plot? You need to be locked up, etc. Whatever it is, I can't tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. Just try and be open. That's my only suggestion to you. I invite you all to be open to what I'm saying. One of the things I teach in part of a lot of my training, coaching, mentoring, it's finding your own truth. It's finding your own yes and no's. It's finding what is actually true for you. We're brought up being told so many things that we need to believe from our parents, from our teachers, from society, whatever it is. And we become these people based on what everyone else has told us. But being in this world now, the number one tool is to find out what your beliefs are, what your truths are, what your yes and no's are. And that's one of the foundational pieces that I like to teach people, is learn how to find your yes and no's. And there's a lot of different types of energy tests and ways that we can do this. And if you are interested in learning more about that, please let me know and I can point you in the right direction. But first, for this module, we're going to talk about our humans and our soul. So this is where it all begins. This is where our mind starts to go. You may have heard some sort of talk about it growing up. I know that my first introduction to something where someone spoke about a soul is like, oh, I'm looking for my soulmate. And a soulmate was someone that was your partner, that you loved, and you were so connected on a soul level. So it wasn't just me in this physical form and the other person in their physical form. It was us connecting on this soul level. And to me, it was, you know, coming from the heart. That's where I believe that our soul connection was. And it's funny because that's where I started to think about it. And then as I started going on my journey, we come up here and it's like, no, my soul's up here. And anyway, now it's back here and now it's everywhere. So it changes. But that was my first introduction to it, is understanding that we're a human with a soul. And what I mean by that is this human meat suit that we have here, this body that we are currently residing in, whether we like it or not, whether, you know, there's things about it that are good and things about it that are bad, etc. This is the physicality of who we are. This is the physical part of us. We live in a physical reality. We live in this 3D world. And part of that 3D world is 3D people. We are the 3D people. The soul part is the energetic, vibrational, non-3D essence of who we are. It can be hard to understand if you've never sort of looked at something that exists that you can't physically feel, touch, and see. As a human, our main senses are our 5 senses. We have touch, we have smell, taste, see, we have, and hear. We have these senses which allow us to give us words and meanings to all the things around us, so that when I look at this pen, I can see, this is a terrible one, it's going to look weird on the camera. I'm doing a color that's easier. Okay, if I look at this and go, okay, this is pink pen. How do I know that it is pink? Well, my eyes are looking at that color. I've been trained to know that the energetic vibration of this color, when I was growing up as a small child, I was kept being told that when I saw this, it was pink. That stayed in there. So every time I see something that's like this, it's pink. How do I know it's a pen? Well, look at the shape of it. I am touching it with my fingers. I am knowing or remembering that when I was a child, this is what I was told, that these things that can write is called a pen. When we do this, we can hear it click. How do we know that's even a click? Because I have ears. My ears are hearing that sound that pen's making. It's my brain is putting the pieces together of when I was a child as well, listening to sounds. We call this a click. And it's all these type of senses that we use as a human to live our everyday lives. This is how we know how to do, how to be, is all the stuff that we were trained from when we were born. We were told how to talk about what colors were, to know what shapes were, to know what things felt with. So, you know, I know if I pick up my water bottle, this is hard. This feels hard because my fingers are feeling it. And that's what we've been told, because if you go back to when you were a baby and you went and touched this bottle and you were told, oh, that's so soft, you're going to grow up believing that the word soft means this. And so this is what makes up our human existence. It's having that length, breadth, and width. If you remember when you go back to school, what makes something 3D? And that's exactly what we are. So that's the physicality of who we are. With that, there's actually 3 parts. Well, there's more, but we'll talk generally, there's 3 parts. We will also have our mind. And our mind is our brain. And in that brain, generally speaking, we have a conscious and a subconscious. So we have a conscious that acts on our everyday thoughts. It does the things it needs to do. It tries to keep us safe. It wants to keep us in routine. It doesn't like change. Excuse me, it doesn't want to do anything out of the normal. It wants to stay the same because it thinks if it's doing all these things the way that we've always done it, it's going to be okay because look, I'm here, I've survived all this, let's keep going, let's not do change. Our subconscious, however, wants us to do the opposite of that. Our subconscious wants us to create and be free and do. Unfortunately, though, sitting inside there as well, is all those things that we were told when we were growing up, all the things that we were led to believe. And it's not just things of knowing that this is a pen and it's pink. You think of all the other things we were told growing up is that, you know, you need to work hard to get money, or the only way to succeed in this world is to finish school, go to university, get married, buy a house. That's what you do when you're an adult, and all these other rules and things, and we won't be going all into that. But that's what stays in our brain as well. So we have this 3D body who obviously is making the connection with this with our human mind. But our human mind also has those 2 parts of not wanting to change or do new things, as well as all our locked-in beliefs and memories, but also wanting us to be better, do better, and, you know, step outside of doing that normal. So we have to combine that with our energetic soul. And what even is our soul? Now, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What is a soul? Like, we've heard people talk about, we've heard people tell us that we're a soul in a human body. What exactly is it? It's an energetic frequency. This brain, our conscious brain, is be like, what? Because it can't see it. Our brain can't use any of our senses to understand what we're talking about. It's not like I can say, okay, this is my energetic conscience. Here it is. This is my soul. Can you feel it? Okay, now you know what it is. It's a bit like, what? It's a vibrational frequency that is our true essence of who we are on an energetic level. So if we look at anything that is physical in this 3D world, like me, even this pen, if you zoom in enough to this or to me, it's eventually going to break down from, you know, the cells, atoms, and molecules. Eventually, under that little telescope and a little petri dish, you're going to see these little things moving around like this. Eventually, no matter what it is that feels solid, it's going to break down in some sort of cell or whatever the lowest denominator is, and it's going to be moving. Because everything is actually not solid. Everything is energy, because those moving little particles is the energetic frequency that I'm talking about. So everything that I'm looking at my desk, you know, it feels solid, like I feel solid, but when you break it all down, well, you're not even breaking it down, you're zooming in on it. When you really, 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 really look at it, it's not solid, because we're all a frequency. We're all an energetic frequency. Even though we're 3D and we feel solid, we're still an energetic frequency. So that soul portion of us is our, excuse me, high vibrational energetic frequency. And where does that come from? How does that appear? How do we get that? Where does it sit? There's so many of these questions. And I don't have the 100% answer for you on that. And you'll be like, well, this is a waste of time. Why am I even watching it? It comes with that, it's up to you on what you're going to believe of where you see it, where you feel it, what it is, where it comes from, how it's created, how it's connected, how I'm connected. I believe this is all going to be a personal response or understanding, because you need to be able to step into what you truly believe about your soul and your human. The only thing I can tell you is you have a soul and you are a human. The rest of it is up to you. You're going to have to find the answers to that. The way that I see it, though, and this is how I came to my own knowledge, was listening to so many other people talking about so many different things about this topic, that I could take bits on board and be like, oh my God, yes. And then I would believe something and go, okay, yeah, we're doing this. Yeah, this is how it works. This is where it is. This is what it does. And then I would hear someone else say something like, oh, I've never heard it like that. What? Could that be real as well? Then you'll hear someone else say something like, oh my God, that's something else. Oh my God. But I only believe a little bit of what that person's saying, and I'm only believing a little bit of what this one's at, but this one's talking about this. And so it was all this information. So that's where I really had to learn how to step into my own truth, how to step into my own yes and no's and find my own true yes and no's of what I believed was how my soul was connecting with my human. And so for me, I believe that my soul, which is part of the pure energetic frequency of our whole existence. And I know that's like, what? Hang on, say that again. I do have a tool. Hang on. I'm going to show you because I love this. I bought this purely so I can actually show people what I mean. So the way that I see it is, because we're an energetic frequency, right? And I believe that we are all connected. We are all a oneness, which means that every single thing on this planet, every single person, every single being of existence, every thought, every idea, every emotion, every past, present, or future piece, every earthly beings, galactic beings, whatever it is, everything in this whole world exists together. We're all energetically connected, and it's represented by this beautiful colored little image I have here. So this is how I see it. It's like this is the oneness of it all. So everything that we ever are, were, could be, has been, could be, would be, should be, is connected. It's all here. It all exists. Obviously, it's way bigger than this. But if you can imagine that there's just so many strands in and out and all around this, that's who we are. That's where our soul comes from. So just say, oh, look, this is Anna's soul. And then it'd be like, oh, here's one of my kids' souls. Oh, here's my dog's soul. Oh, here's my mum's soul. And just imagine that we all have our souls and we're all connected somewhere, whether it's, right next to each other or all the way on the other side. We're still all connected. We're still all one. We're still all part of this. And that's where the soul human sort of belief comes from, because I had a lot of different beliefs on how or where that thought actually came from. And it wasn't until I really felt comfortable with understanding that, okay, if we are this energetic existence and we're all connected, because it's an energetic frequency, everything is energy, it has to all be connected. So even in the space that we live in, it's all connected. So if we look at it that way, we can sort of get the understanding of, well, this is my human, and I'm living in this 3D world with these 3D objects and understandings, but I have this energetic frequency, which is just energy. it's just a vibrational state, and it is all connected, how can we make it all work together as one? How can we make that soul connection assist us while we're in this human form? Because if we look at it, it's like, ugh, 3D human, it's so hard. But then if you're looking at this soul existence, this energetic frequency, which is connected to everything, well, then there has to be some better stuff out there. There has to be a higher frequency state of my soul essence. It has to be the knowingness and understanding of everything, because if my soul is already connected to everything, then it has to have all the answers to everything. And that's right. That's what our soul does have. It has all the answers. It has all the emotions. But where do you think it wants to sit? Does it want to sit in this, human state of struggling every day and going to work, paying the bills, doing the things on the weekends? No, it just wants to love. It just wants to be happy. It just wants joy and creation and expansion and connectedness and all these beautiful feelings that we know that we have felt as humans, but we can't seem to get it all the time. So that's why we work on our soul connection to ourselves, so that we can achieve more and more of that beautiful feeling. So I hope that's made some sense and has not bamboozled you with the whole soul human concept. I don't want to put all my projections onto you, because you might feel that your soul human connection is different to the way that I'm describing it. And my belief is that whatever anyone else believes, it's true, because it's your own belief. I can't tell you that that is wrong. It's because it's your belief. So it has to be true, because you exist and your existence is part of the everythingness. That means that you are right. So if we go back to this poor little pink pen, if you told me that was a green rubber, you were right. That is your belief. So that means it is true. And that is a huge concept to really sort of take on board. But it's really good to sort of be open to some of these things way in the beginning when you're sort of going along your spiritual journey, not because you're going to take it on board or blah, blah, blah. It's like marinating your food or something. It's just getting those juices flowing. So the basic understanding and why I'm talking about this in a light language course is because that is literally what light language is. Light language is our human interpretation of that vibrational frequency that we are receiving from our multidimensional high vibrational self. So when it comes into our body in its vibrational energetic state, our human body cannot portray it the way that it comes in, because it's an energetics, or it's a frequency that this human doesn't know how to do, because we're all little 3D humans. So our human body has to interpret what it's feeling. It has to interpret that connection. So that's why it's different for everyone, where you will have different sounds or different tones, or you could be a singer or you can code, or you can dance or paint or draw or create codes. So it's always going to be different for everyone, because we're all interpreting it in our own individual and unique way. But that's why we need to understand the soul in the human, because that is honestly the truest essence of exactly what light language is and where it is coming from. But I'll talk more about it in the next few modules. This module is probably a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but I hope you understand what I'm saying, or at least sort of get the gist, and you're able to take it on board and find out what you feel is your truth as well when I'm speaking about this. But I'll see you in the next video.